He might not be from Krypton, but he's heads above the rest. His knowledge can't be questioned. You can put it to the test. So if you want to hear the truth and have nowhere else to go, I'll give you the solution. Just tune into his show and just kneel before Zod. Kneel before Zod. Kneel before Zod. Kneel before Zod.
And welcome back, everybody, to the Fandom Zone. It is the most earth-breaking, ground-shaking, but never media show money-taking, kind of the man, the myth, the legend, the most electrifying villain in all of YouTube entertainment today, Mr. Zod. And it's funny because, no, I don't take shows as far as rating anything higher, but I am becoming a monster of the corporate machine. So... really gotta. It's like, no, I'm not the show. I'm not the media show taking. And by the way, go check out the new earbuds by their AirBuds. They're just great. You know, all the kids wear them. You don't have to wear this big ridiculous headset. Oh my God, I'm gonna be one of those people. I love how one of my favorite YouTubers is Jeremy Johns, and he just goes, sponsorship. I think I'm just going to steal that from him. And then maybe one day he'll notice me and come on my channel.
He won't. He won't.
He will. He will. If I annoy him enough, I'll either get a restraining order or he'll come on my channel. I'll settle for the last.
Yeah, you can definitely get that first one. Be like, I got Jeremy John's signature.
Welcome, everybody. Today we have a very special Fandom Talks interview because we have the beautiful Alma Redacted on here, and we have Pop Culture. And you're probably wondering, well, PopCulturePb never comes on these interview things. What is he doing here today? Because Zod doesn't do the whole tarot thing.
Zod's a chicken.
No. I like to keep my
Grogu ambiguous. Don't lie. You're Puerto Rican and you're like, we don't do that spiritual stuff, man.
Actually, that's true. My grandma would be like, what are you doing?
Like, we don't deal with those demons.
No. Yeah, you know, that's kind of the funny thing. Back in my day, my Hispanic relatives would be like throwing holy water on you and stuff, and that's not even what you do. They would just be like saying stuff in Spanish, like
you just get doused in the face, and you're like, Grams.
She would. My grandma would have not even understood the YouTube thing. Like, Lisa, are you getting paid for this? What are you doing? This no good.
No doctor. Why could you be an attorney?
I mean, he's not a doctor because we want people to survive.
Yeah.
And let me read out the chat really here. We have Justice for Depp, Rebecca Perp at 11:37 a.m. Must be a really special occasion. Hey, Perp. We've got Coffee Awake. That's kind of funny. You know, because kind of sounds like coffee awake. Okay.
Yeah, we get it, guys.
We have TJ. We have Generation Productions. Hey, GP. How you doing? Good to see you here. I haven't seen you in a while. We have Cherry K. We have The Glare. Aaron, how are you? Lemon Pie, the best pie. And Tiffany and Tina. Yes. And if I don't get to, and Lily Potter, who appears on my phone but not on my StreamYard's chats because I love delays.
Don't you love it when bleeping StreamYard does that? Because I'm not supposed to say what I want.
I love it, PB. Eventually I want to get a soundboard, and then every time you go off, I'm just gonna hit that little or we could do like the
we'll have to be on the 15-second delay like the radio.
Yeah. Yeah, and then do like a dolphin noise every time you curse.
I can't do the dolphin noise. Don't make me.
So, what up, everyone? It's good to see you here. Today, we're going to, and now, I'm not gonna lie. I saw you doing stuff with Gary, and I was like, yeah, that is interesting. The things that you guys are talking about and stuff. And shout out to Gary. I stole your guest. I apologize, Gary. You're really hard to get a hold of. Um, but I found your channel fascinating, and I wanted to give you an interview today so people can learn about your channel, where they can find you, and you have a very unique kind of interesting take. So before I started my line of questionings, what do you do on your channel?
Right, yeah. Starting with the basics. Okay, my channel mostly so far is like readings for kind of collective readings for new moon, full moon, like the month of March, the month of April, or zodiac readings, things like that that are a little bit more collective. But I am going to be getting more into like ghost story, true crime type tarot readings, and also thought about I have my twin sister. I have a twin sister, and she has a YouTube channel. Yes, I didn't go into all this before, so I don't know how much of this is this crowd knows. But I have a twin sister who's got like 10,000 subs. Her channel is established. Mine's a little bit more of an experiment, and so she and I are going to be doing some collabs too, but I do mostly readings that are about, I guess, internal stuff, just normal everyday people readings, private readings and things like that. But I'm branching more into the external world stuff. So I saw the Glare with his classic sarcasm he's known for here, writing about Amber Heard. Is she going to get through this incredible injustice and stuff like that? So questions like that look at the external world. I'm going to be bringing a lot more of those types of things into my channel in the future too.
Which, by the way, go check out the world's greatest troll, the Glare.
Yes.
I had such a fun time, and I know you're listening. So, Mr. Glare, if you want to do another review, we had a blast. We wound up drinking together and doing a review, and by the time we got, I think, an hour into it, we totally stopped talking about Batman and Robin because it's a terrible movie, and we ended up talking about bears and porta potties with Mr. PopCulturePb. So that was
you're welcome.
That was a great stream. And the Glare does some very good stuff about true crime and things like that. So go check out his channel because he was one of the people who helped get me to 1,000, and I appreciate everybody doing that. But yeah, so you do that kind of stuff. Now, there's a big misconception about what you do. Do you predict the future and tell people if they're going to fall in love and all of that stuff?
Very good point. Okay, so there are lots of people out there that do typically use tarot in the whole look at my crystal ball, look at this, not me so much. That's not really my vein.
Do you have a crystal ball?
I have a lot of crystals, but not one in a sphere shape. But that I actually almost bought one the other day, so it would have been a crystal ball. I had thought about that just out of pure snark alone, pure snark, because I'm very irreverent. Most people in the tarot sphere, they're very serious. Like, we're talking to God, this is spirit, and they have this almost like church way about them, and I'm just like, oh hell, that's never, I can't be that, and so I'm cussing up a storm and I'm really irreverent, and it's a little bit more like tarot cards with Lieutenant Dan from Forrest Gump. It's it's rough. It's a little rough, but yeah. So I'm a bit more of like, what's your current energy? What situation is going on here? Where's your barriers and your blockages between where you are and where you want to be? And I do usually ask like some future oriented questions, but I'm not somebody that bothers with being like, a year from now, what's your life going to look like? Because I mean, nobody here, I think if you try to visualize your life 1 year from now, I think most people would be like, after 2020, who knows what the world is even going to look like. And so I personally am not comfortable just looking at a card here and being like, okay, cool, she's got titties hanging out, so you're gonna catch a charge for indecent exposure. Like, what am I supposed to say? So I think it's a little bit more practical to look at it closer to now than coming up with like how you're going to die or stuff like that. I don't think I would ever be able to call that.
That's exactly what Zod wanted to hear. He thought, we're going to do the tarot card reading, and PB is going to learn that he's going to die in 7 days.
There is a death card in there. There is a death card in this deck.
Well, that's exciting.
Speaking of which, welcome to Dr. Soup with a $5 super chat. Thank you very much. Shelby, she's amazing. Go check out her channel. Says, hello, Alma. I love the relaxed vibe. Hi, PB and Zod. Yeah, we're very relaxed people. We never get mad about anything, and it's always a calm day here in the Fandom Zone.
We're not talking about anything that comes out on HBO Max, guy. Knock it off.
Speaking of which, if you subscribe to HBO Max now and put in the promo code General Zod's Fandom Zone, you will get the first
You'll
month.
You'll pay 10% more.
Go check it out. No. That's very interesting because, like you said, we'll see you later, Soup. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, she has some awesome stuff and some great chats. Her, Stevie, and Spiritually Empowered One, Les, do some stuff. So go check out those channels. They're awesome. I've had them on here. After this interview, you can go to my playlist, which people don't seem to think exists because I get calls in the morning saying, where's the show? It's in the playlist. It's in the playlist, people. All my stuff is in a nice, neat playlist. It's not exactly organized by newest to oldest, but stuff happens in life
and
anyways.
Neat are a stretch as well.
But anyway, so yeah, it's great that we're already breaking those misconceptions because look, like I was talking about earlier in my hilarious rendition of Grandma Zod. There's a myth like, oh my God, this is all evil spirits and stuff. And I've always thought about like things having to do with tarot card readings, psychics and stuff like that as more of an intuition. Would you say it's more of an intuition and something like that? Because look, when you break down, and I don't want to get into it because religion is always one of those taboo things you don't want to touch with politics and everything else that people get sensitive about, but anything, faith in general is just your belief or your intuition about something higher than yourself, right? So I kind of think of like tarot card readings, psychic mediums, things like that have a really great intuition. They're tapped into something that a normal person doesn't possess,
I think of it as normal people do possess it, but maybe they don't develop it or they don't listen to it quite as much. So, because if you're someone who believes in religion and things of that nature, then you would just think of yourself as everybody's kind of like a byproduct of God or connected in some way, which means everybody would have an intuition, like everybody would have it. But it's either something that you pay attention to and hone in and practice, or it's something that you just, you let it atrophy on the side. And the way that I think about tarot cards, I think that they're versatile, even if you're spiritual or you're not, because like for example, my boyfriend is atheist. So he flat out doesn't believe in God or anything, you know, but he still really loves tarot cards because he looks at it more like a psychological thing. You know, like in psychology, they have those ink blot tests, you know, what do you see? And if you show somebody 10 ink blots and they're like, I keep seeing the devil, then it's like, well, you've got a preoccupation here. Now we'll dive into why you see, why do you see that? You know,
All of the pictures look like they have horns in them. Give me a break.
Yeah, and then you're like, okay, so we're going to go and investigate that one because you're stuck in something. And so that if nothing else, the symbolism of these cards can be something that it generates, it triggers something in here that makes you think, and it might make you think about areas of your life or things that you never went into before. So it can give you insight, even if that's all you get out of it. But I do tend to believe that you've got some kind of divination going on here, because I've seen it work out too many times where I'm just slinging cards at people and just saying what I'm looking at, and they're like, oh my God, you could shut up now because I don't need everybody knowing my business. And I'm like, well, you know, how would I be saying something that was your business if I wasn't having some help here getting a message out that would be useful for you? So I think of it more like that.
I think that is an extremely awesome take, along with an extremely awesome hashtag Pine Anal merch at the store. Go check it out. Oh, that was a beautiful segue.
That was not a beautiful segue. That was terrible. Yes, she's correct. That was crafty, not beautiful.
Generation Production says, at Alma Redacted, don't you feel an electric charge that is on the cards, or you feel that is the right card based on the electric charge you feel in yourself or on the card? That was very deep, GP.
Yes, but that's very true. Like I do. I mean, there's so many ways that you can choose cards or have cards choose you to like come out. A lot of the times I'll just be shuffling, and the second that I ask a question, a card will literally fly about in my face, you know, so it's like you can't help but to pick it because it flew out. But there's another method that people, when they first get into tarot, a lot of what they do is they'll take the cards and they'll splay them out on a table and hover their hand over it, and you'll actually feel heat or an electrical charge like what they were saying, and it'll kind of feel like you're pinging on a card, and you'll know that this one's the one that I need to pick. And sometimes when I'm doing readings and a card, it'll be like two cards fly out like face down. You'll feel if one of them is supposed to be picked up or if they're both supposed to be picked up. It's very much so like a physiological thing that you feel yes or no on something. So it is kind of weird, but you just know. It's like instinctual.
So if it's instinctual, hold on, I got to follow up here. If it's instinctual, is there ever any hesitation? Like, is there I think I should pick this card, but this other one's got a little bit more to it?
Oh God, yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, because there'll be sometimes where cards you'll have cards that spill out, and you have like a whole pile of cards that came out like face up. And so technically a lot of people that get really picky and strict about tarot, you know, people have dogma in everything they do, and they're like, if it shows itself, you have to take it all. But it's what you feel. And so there'll be times where like one card, it'll just be like screaming at you, you'll just see it and you take that one. And but yeah, there's plenty of times in my videos, if you ever watch them back, where I'll be going to pick a card, I'll be like, that one, and you'll see like the hesitancy and my little wheels grinding, trying to figure it out. So that happens.
I don't know. To me, that makes it seem more real than somebody that's like, oh yeah, I'm 100% sure of myself all the time, and I know exactly what card I'm supposed to draw. That sounds like bullshit to me.
It is. It's total BS. Like, well, maybe I shouldn't be so confident in blowing that one out there, but you know, hey, because there are a lot of people who really put on airs with stuff like tarot, and that's where my irreverence totally clashes with that, because the way that I say it is like, I can't even prove to you that God exists. I can't even prove to you that this is actually a divination tool. I can't prove any of that, you know, and I'm not here to prove it. I'm here to to do my thing with someone who's consenting to me doing my thing. And I tell you what I feel when I'm looking at this stuff, and take what fits, ditch what doesn't. And a lot of the times my accuracy rate's really good, but there's going to be times that I'm going to be talking and people will just be sitting there being like, girl, it's not landing. It's not landing. And I think that's fair enough. I mean, because some people, you know, first of all, you can't be perfect all the time. And second of all, you just come into contact with some people that are a good fit with you, and some people that you just don't jive with their energy or their message or what they're saying. And it's just, you know, it's just not going to come together. And so, and I think that's fair enough. And anybody that says I'm 100% right and I know all the answers, I would not trust that individual like at all.
Yeah, because you know that's the shame about these things, is that you get a lot of people who will do stuff like that. And I come from the entertainment world, so I'll reference shows a lot for my point. But there was a show on Hulu. What was it called? It was with Jeffrey Donovan from Burn Notice, and he was like a grifter, and he was pretending to be psychic, and then he hit his head or something, and he actually became psychic and started getting premonitions. But he was also like a hustler, so he'd kind of use it in certain situations to manipulate people, or to get into something, to use it to his own benefit. It was a very intriguing show, and as Hulu does, they get rid of all of the intriguing shows and they keep crap on, because go Disney, we want 50 more family shows. Thank you. Rebecca says at Alma Redacted, is that I believe a cat card for me?
Yes. Is there a cat card?
A cat card. I don't really know about like what a cat card necessarily means. Like in this deck, at least, these are all people that are on here.
Okay.
So but I mean, there's different decks of different kinds of things. I've got a deck of oracle cards that are sitting right here that's animals, but I'm still learning those. I don't know them yet. Oh, yay, thank you, Cherry.
Yeah.
So, okay,
Cherry.
now, say what you're going to say. I got a question.
Yeah, Cherry, Kay, thank you. She is a fantastic and magical mod who's like puts all those links out. I don't even think I sent her your info. I don't know how she does it. It's just like
she's just better than you are, like usual.
Yeah, exactly.
Jeez, God. Okay, now I got a question about the cards.
Mm-hmm.
You said the other deck that you had was called Oracle cards, and those are all animals?
Yeah, well, okay. Is the question about like what's the difference between a tarot deck and an oracle deck? Is that kind of
No. The question was going to be, do different decks reveal different things about the person you're doing the reading on?
Yep. Every deck has its own flavor or tone, I guess that you could say. Like tarot, one of the reasons why I like, you know, like a standard tarot deck is because it can get like really gritty and almost invasive, like borderline invasive, because it can like target some stuff, and it has a lot of cards in there that aren't happy cards to flip over. But they have oracle decks, and oracle decks are more like animal spirits or angel messages or things like that are a bit more, I would say, tame, a little bit more lighthearted. And so it'll be like, you know, you're bringing in the spirit of this animal. So if it's like the spirit of the hyena, then you're somebody with a great sense of humor and you're jovial and stuff like that. Whereas, you know, the death card in here, that's like death. So it has like a different flavor to it.
So does the card have a different meaning depending on when you've drawn it during the reading, or do all of the cards have a pretty hard and fast meaning?
Not at all. The first part. These cards, because you're mostly predominantly working with a mix between your intuition and your personal experience, because, you know, hey, even when you're a writer, they tell you write what you know. So whenever you're doing any kind of like trying to talk with people, you're bringing in some of your experience into it too. But it's like a lot of it is intuitive. So when I'm doing a reading, there's different spreads that you can do. And what I mean by spreads is like locations, placements of the cards. And a lot of the placements will be different meanings. So what's the situation? What's crossing the situation? What's in your subconscious? What's in your conscious mind? What's in the near future? Yada, yada, yada. And so depending on where that card shows up, what placement that card shows up in, the meaning it has, like if I were to just pull up this card, for example, this card, the 9 of Swords, is the card of like anxiety and insomnia and nightmares. Like this is a card of worry.
Oh, and we've already begun. Interesting.
but if I pulled this up in the past position, that's a good thing. That means you're through it. If I pull this up in the future position, that's bad, you know, like, or not great.
I feel like you pulled it up in the present and future position.
It very well could be. But the meaning of the card itself changes not just in the position it's with, but if you have multiple cards around it, the context of these surrounding cards are going to change what this one means. So it's not just like copy and paste from a dictionary, here's the meanings. It's a fluid thing. It's like an amalgamation of information. So there's some storytelling in it.
Speaking of storytelling, I'm going to tell everybody a story really quick. Dreamy Corn
See,
Chips.
that was a better segue.
Dreamy Corn Chips, because you have some very interesting questions. If you get dinged, you're not a mod on my channel because I haven't seen you here before. And I don't make mods right away. I like to see you come in a little bit so I get a sense of who you are. But if your comment doesn't go through, it's not because of my mods. Me, the Glare, several other channels spoke about this. Right now, Google has their own mods that are connected with YouTube or YouTube Google thing going on, where YouTube is going through our channels and they are timing people out and using their own moderators and hiding comments and things like that. Sometimes I can catch them, sometimes I can't. You might get timed out. It's not our system, it's theirs. The Glare did a whole like 2-hour talk or an hour and a half talk about it and how he was upset. And there's no point in us having moderators if they're just going to come through and time out people and stuff on their own. So if your comment gets erased or you get timed out, it's no one on my end unless you're saying something inappropriate or berating the chat. My mods are not going to put you on timeout. They're not going to hide your questions or anything like that. It's just something that we're all dealing with, and especially now with the bigger channels, particularly the 1K channels, we get very closely watched and very closely, like before I hit 1K, PB, do you remember anyone just randomly being timed out? I literally had to make mods so they wouldn't time out people I knew.
No, the only time people randomly got timed out is when I wasn't paying attention and my earphones touched the screen and I would look down and I went, "What did I do?"
Yes, which was solely PB's fault. But yeah, oh no problem, Dreamy. I have no problem answering your questions, and if I don't get to you right away, it's because someone's talking and I don't want to interrupt them to go off on a random tangent. I like to give them the time and the floor to speak, but I will get to you, and I do see you in the chat. When I'm typing down, I kind of look weird. That's why I don't always go to the chat to type something out, because it's like, they'd be like, "Hey, why are you looking off to the side on your screen?" But yeah, don't think anyone here.
Dude, nobody's looking at you anyways. Don't worry about it.
What are you talking about? Everyone's looking at Groku. Look at that. He's in the pond, and he's got a reflection of Yoda. I love this show.
Unbelievable. No.
But yeah, I know it's really frustrating. I understand, especially anybody new to the channel or anything like that. I do apologize. It's something we're all going through. We've been writing into YouTube, but they don't care because, you know, it's YouTube, and I don't even think there's a person manning when people are timed out. It's just a bot somewhere automatically timing people out based off keywords and phrases. So I've had people type in like letters and the comment just got rejected. I don't understand how it works. I've been on a couple of channels and tried to type something in, and I type the message out and then it just doesn't appear. So yeah, it's a universal issue. But anyway, swinging it back around, Have you ever been in a situation where you told someone their what was going to happen or what they've been through and stuff, and they got angry with you, and like were like just really upset, like, nah, that ain't gonna happen, bruh. I'm out of here.
Well, I guess that I can make that a long-winded thing, but I'll try not to. Okay, so the only time that's ever actually happened in a dramatic way that would even be remotely interesting is not actually an interesting story, because it would be like with my twin sister, when I'm pulling out cards, I'm like, I'm sorry, man, that's just what it says right here, and you know as well as I do, and she's just all like, ah, you know, and dropping all the expletives that I'm not supposed to drop right now. I'm trying to really like rein it back, but yeah, like, so I mean. Trolling the family members, yeah, you'll get the angry thing coming out from the family members. I don't know what to tell you, man. It's right here, and, you know. But like in terms of private readings, or when I'm working with people, you know, that pay me for a reading, my background, like what I do is a full-time job, because this obviously is just a hobby that brings in a tiny amount of income, you know. So I have a real job, and I work as like, well, in the mental health field. So I'm trained in mental health and that kind of stuff, like clinically trained. So anytime I'm seeing something that comes out that looks heavy or dark, or it could be something that I think would probably cause the sitter some level of anxiety or upset, I'm going to make sure that the way that I'm delivering that message is based in a place of like empowerment, where they realize where their control is in there. So they're not feeling like something unfortunate is just going to happen to me, and I guess I'm just going to have to get pummeled by it, and I'm going to be like depressed until it shows up. You know, like who would want to pay money to hear that? You know what I mean? And so like I make sure that I say it in a way that that doesn't send people into a panic. And just extra side note, the future itself, I'm one of those people that tends to believe it's what you make it. So you have free will, you have choice. So if you don't like something I say that I see in a future position, I tell everybody this is only the future, what the future looks like if nothing here in the now changes. If you keep the same thoughts, you keep the same actions, you make the same decisions, and from the same frame of mind, this is the most likely outcome you could expect to see yourself in. But the second that you change your mind and you change your decisions, you change your behavior, you're not going to see this. It's not set in stone. It's up to you. You do what you want with it. So if you don't like it, do something different. And it kind of changes the angle more into empowerment, so people don't feel like they're just kind of doomed to something bigger than them.
Yeah, I definitely agree. That's, you know, it must be like a really difficult thing when you're doing stuff like that, because people like to think they want to know things, or like to think that they like could go in and they're like, oh yeah, I want to know this and this, or, you know, I want to get an idea of this, or, you know, where you know, things are going. And then when you tell them, they're like, you know, on second thought, did I really want to know? And it's just like, well, you asked the question, so why are you not like happy with the response you're getting? It's
You're totally right there, because people will, like, they'll come to me in a private reading because basically they want to keep their man. For example, like, I really want him, and I'm pretty sure that he's leaving me, and so I'm paying for a tarot reading because I really just hope that someone can confirm to me that he's not going to leave me. And if I get a card that's, you know, that they flip out and I'm like, this has got heartbreak and like breakup all over this spread, I'm just being honest, this is, you know, this is what it's looking like. And then they're all like, you know, well, thanks, but this isn't what I expected. And I'm like, yeah, well, fair enough. That's what I'm looking at. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah. So, you know, that part of it is always one of those things where it's like, you know, that's why with the whole getting readings and things like that, I've always been sketchy about it. But then again, like I said, you know, I grew up where it's like, no, don't do that, son. Why do you want to do that? No.
I mean, like, my ex-husband, he thought they were of the devil. He was like, "You're bringing demons into our house," and so like, I had to hide the cards back when I was married.
Look,
that's over.
I'm Christian. Bitchy just kind of falls in the line somewhere, whatever. But she's had these experiences where like she does something and they're like, no, that you can't do that. And I've ran into that too, where people are just like, you shouldn't do that, and it's the devil. And I hate that excuse because I feel like, just because you believe in something, and look, if you believe in something, that's awesome. Everybody should have something to believe in, especially like coming from the military. There's a lot of things that have happened that if I didn't believe in something, I don't think I would have gotten through it. And people need that. Like, belief is good, but when you go towards that, like, oh, you're the devil if you do this, then that's where it's kind of like, whoa, hold on a second.
We took a pretty big leap there.
Calm down. How do we jump from, me just reading some cards to my soul's gonna burn in hell? Like,
Exactly.
I tell PB all the time,
not
it's
directly
not your fault you're
connected?
ginger. Yeah. Yes, just so everyone knows, I blocked that user. They were causing problems in the chat. Look, like I said, I'm not going to have people who are going to sit here and cause discord in my chat. If they're saying stuff that's bothering the people in the chat, then I'm going to kick them because we have good vibes going, and I've already had a frustrating morning, so I'm not putting up with any BS today. And I'm not going to let my viewers who come in deal with BS either. That person, I read through all the chats, and they didn't seem to have anything constructive to say. So,
well, don't worry, they can still listen and scream at the sky in the background.
It's like, look, like, and that's the thing too, with people who have been here a while that I know, if someone new comes in, I don't care if it's a new sub, if they're not abiding by the rules, and I got to step in, I've had problems in the past, and it's one thing I've always been upset with big content creators where they just let stuff go or they don't answer people. I'm looking at you, dragging on the walls. IGN. Oh, it always comes back to them. Okay, if you guys don't know the backstory,
get over it, guy.
I can't, because it wasn't dragons on the wall anymore, PB. 2 of the dragons were dead. It was dragon on the wall, and they never changed it. And they shilled the crap out of that season, the worst season of Game of Thrones possible. I'm sorry. War flashbacks.
This show is not about you today.
I'm sorry. Just got caught up in my flashbacks, but I hate kicking and blocking people, but I'm starting to realize when you become a little bit bigger and you start to get people just jumping in, and you get these people, and it's like you try to give them a chance and see what they're saying, and then all of a sudden they just like have nothing constructive to say. They're bugging other people while we're having a nice conversation. It just annoys me. So, but yeah. So, the other thing that I wanted to ask is, with you and Gary, you guys get into other things too, like hauntings and things like that. Being that you do the tarot card thing and you're tapped into that intuition, is there always kind of a gravity towards more of the unknown? Like, because for me, my don't mess with it extends to everything. Like, if I have a friend who's like, hey, remember that Amityville horror house? You want to go in there? And be like, that's white people stuff. I don't do that.
Check it out, man. I want them to throw a plate at me and everything.
Oh, God. No, but I get where you're coming from, Zai, because like once you start opening up to that, especially more mediumship type things, because if I'm just using the tarot cards like I'm reading you, Zod, or I'm reading PB, you know, like I'm just going to be working with your energies. We're not messing with ghosties. We don't have anything like that. But once you start bringing ghosties or anything like that you're doing a mediumship thing with, then it's not the same as like Ouija board stuff, because Ouija board is a bit more like, hey, I want you to possess my hand to move the planchette. Like there's a little bit more of an invitation to like come into your body, whereas this is more of like, you know, just flipping out cards. I feel like it's not quite as invasive.
I don't want to play the Whoopi Goldberg role here. That's not for me.
No. Yeah, I have, of course, you know, I've dabbled in things that never with Ouija boards, not yet, but I've dabbled in things before that didn't turn out too cool. That I was like, yeah, I'm not going to be repeating that, you know. So
wait, not yet. Watch that movie Ouija Origin. Don't ever do it. Don't look. I'm a big horror fan. I know how all of this stuff ends. I don't want to be like, oh, I'm gonna have Alma on, and you come out and be like, I will kill you. I'd be like, whoa, okay, well.
I'm so scared. Let me run upstairs. Yeah, it's always upstairs. Oh my gosh, no, like. I'm curious about the ghost story stuff, but I'm still aware enough about boundaries and protections and spiritual hygiene, so to speak, that I'm not necessarily wanting to go into something that's too close, because you do open yourself up. Like, okay, even with doing like the hauntings, ghost stories and stuff like that I did with Gary, even just talking about ghost stuff and being more open to doing ghost stuff, I end up having more like experiences, because I do have a slew of paranormal experiences. And I mean, even just last night, it was like 2 a.m. before I was even comfortable to go to bed, because there was like stuff happening in my house and I started freaking myself out. But yeah, that's a whole story.
I want to have some paranormal experiences. I'm told all the time that I live in a house that's supposed to be haunted, and I never have any experiences. I'm open to all these experiences. Nothing ever happens. I don't ever have any feelings or nothing like that, but maybe it's because I don't have any feelings, period.
No, you live in the setting that's perfect for like The Strangers,
oh my gosh,
or Texas Chainsaw Massacre, or Jason, or, you know, any list of other crazy serial killers. Like, there I go. I've seen this location.
It's a meth bear story.
It's like, I've seen this location. It's straight out of Wrong Turn. They didn't shoot in Virginia. They shot in PB's backyard. We've been lied to.
Are there any bears in Wrong Turn? I don't remember. I only seen it once.
No. There's no bears in it, but there are inbred cannibal people. So you know, I guess same difference.
Very similar.
But no, see, that's like, I was curious because you guys were talking about that, and I'm like, I'm getting nervous just watching this. But that's that whole old school, like, no, don't listen to the ghost story. And then, you know what's funny about that too, is that the old people will tell you, like, don't mess with this, don't mess with that, and then they'll tell you a story about someone who did it and scare the crap out of you before you go to bed and be like, okay, Pepito, time to go to bed, good night. I'm like this in my bed, like.
Your second cousin, once removed, was thrown out of a vehicle for touching a tarot card. Don't be like her.
You're like, okay, good night. Like, this is the most horrible bedtime story ever. And oh my goodness, the cultural stories too, like, you know, La Llorona, and, you know, all of that stuff. And those used to be bedtime stories. Okay, don't talk about how scary things are and then tell your children a story like that before they go to bed. It's not cool. It's not cool. Like, so when you grow up with this stuff, it's like you inadvertently get a bias. But like, I always found it as I got older, and I studied like all aspects, like the witchcraft stuff and things like that, because going into it, I found out like
whoa. You did witchcraft, not
I never said
wizardry.
I did it. I studied it. There's a huge difference. No, Zod doesn't mess with research is different from like going out and like going, hey, I'm gonna
I don't
summon
know if
Gaia.
research is so much different than doing it. Like practice, like that's what doctors are doing. They're all practicing, right? Are they just practicing? No, they're cutting into people.
I mean, I did go to when I went to core school. Part of it was we did have to do the medical part, so they gave Zod a scalpel on a cadaver. That was a fun day. Imagine a villain with a scalpel. That actually could be a horror movie. But no, I mean it was it was true. Like you do have to practice this stuff, but they make sure they give you the amount of books that you need before they just go, okay, here you go, kid, good luck. You know, here's your little sewing kit and everything. Go on and out there and stitch someone up. No, it doesn't work that way. You got to like practice your stitching on something that's not going to scream in pain. And then once they see you can stitch appropriately, then they're like, okay, it's just they're in pain and not you're messing up the stitching, because I had to learn like butterfly stitches and things like that. Because
why don't you just cauterize the wounds with your eyes?
I mean, yeah, they frowned upon that. Like, you don't have to use the laser beam for everything. Okay, stop laser beaming people. All right, jeez. But you know, it's one of those things. So I looked into this stuff, and it's like every one of these things I feel like kind of all have this connectivity, right? Whenever you look at everything, it's always a connection to a higher power, no matter what you're talking about. And that's what I find interesting. And what I don't get about the whole argument, because it's like, back in the day with Salem's and things like that, they like burn the witch, but really, is the witch that different from you? The witch that different from you guys? They believe in a higher power.
The witches were killing each other. Apparently, that's what happened. I watched WandaVision.
Where they, it was like, it's like, no, everybody believes in something higher than themselves. And now if you're summoning the devil and things like that, then nah, bro, that's not cool. Like anarchists and occultists and things like that. No, when you get into that territory, you're on some more other, like the other spectrum, but it's like a duality. Kind of like, let's use Star Wars reference, the Force. You have the light side of the Force and dark side of the Force. It's the greatest reference to anything that has a religious undertone. You always have the good and the bad. Even like Christianity and things like that. They've been used for good, or they've been used for bad. They've been used to stop violence or to promote violence. It's all a big cycle. So it's like anything that you do in life. And that's what I found so interesting when you guys were talking about this on your channel. It's like, and when you and Gary get into those discussions, because it's like anything that we have as a subject could be used to promote and open people's minds and get them on board to something new and get them involved into things. It could also be used as a tool to hurt or scare or manipulate. Like, how many times have I seen those psychic friends networks? Do you guys remember that? I don't know how old everyone is in
I
the
don't
chat.
know what you watch at night, guy.
No, you know what I'm talking about back in the day when you would be like watching, your show. I used to watch The Outer Limits, right? And about 2:00 in the morning, it'd be like, do you want to know your future? Well, call so-and-so now and get a free reading. And then it says charges may apply for and you're like, this is so shameless. And
no, charges don't apply until after the first 2 minutes.
Yeah.
But then they start talking real slow. I never understood that. Weird.
Or they pause. They're like, wait, I'm trying to listen. I'm trying to listen for what they're saying. I'm listening to the angels. Just give it a second. They're finishing their sentence. And you're like, because I'm paying $3 a minute for this crap. You're sitting here talking it out. Yeah.
And the
Alma's like, I just called in to do research, you bastards.
That's Cleo. Quit jerking my chain. I'm going to call the Better Business Bureau.
And you know what's hilarious about this too? You could always tell the people that are fake because they ask questions and you're answering them. That's the whole trick. Like, I grew up in the city. We did the same thing, I could get a street guy who you would think would be psychic, and he's using the same tool that they're using. They're asking you a question, and based upon how you're answering, they relay the information back to you. So it sounds like they know this information, but you really just told them everything. It's like, I sense that there's a dog. Oh my God, I have a dog named Pookie, and then they play off of that, and they got a general idea, and they lead you to the questions. What you're doing doesn't seem like you're really leading anybody to anything. It's more of, this is what I'm picking up, and this is the card, and this is what it means in relation to the sequences that I've laid out. So,
you know who is really good at leading people to the questions? Alex Trebek.
Oh, yeah. That guy definitely had some kind of hustle going. I was like...
No, he read answers and people gave him questions, guy. Jesus.
Yeah, potato, potato. This is why everybody loves to work together.
Unbelievable.
So, I guess, Mr. PopCulturePb was nice enough to be here to be the volunteer because Zod likes to keep things ambiguous in his life. Maybe I might do something depending on how it goes. If PB finds out he's going to own a tiger on an island, then yeah, I might give it.
Ooh. What kind of tiger?
I mean, for me personally, I want like a white one.
Yes.
Yeah, you can't have a tiger and not be like one of those albino tigers. Those things are bitching. Like,
well, I don't know. I'm of a certain age where what do I want to say? The saber-toothed tiger and the white Power Ranger went together, so I want a white tiger. What do you want from me?
Elizabeth means that's alligator in the desert. You want a desert and an alligator? Those things seem like they don't fit together.
No, I don't ever want an. I mean, the only way that I ever wanted an alligator is if I'm in some place that I own a moat.
Yeah.
Like if you live in a compound in Florida or Louisiana, I'm putting that moat in and being like, beware of alligators. I don't know if they're in there. They probably are.
So yeah, I was figuring we're almost just about an hour into the stream, so let's jump into this, and we'll get the brave and stunning PopCulturePb to do his what would it be? Future outcome, life events?
Honestly, it's whatever you want to do, PB, because the way tarot works is if you say you just want some like a general read where I just start putting out, like when I do a general read, I do a Celtic cross where I just start talking about, okay, here's a current situation that might be going on in your life and kind of move through that. But if you have like actual targeted questions about something and you want to see answers about it, I'll tell you if the question is something that I'm like, yeah, that would be something I think I could reasonably answer with tarot, or I'll flat out tell you if I'm like, that's a limitation, that's for people that are better at it than I am. I don't mind looking, I'm not here trying to prove anything. I got my limitations just like anybody else, but yeah, is there any direction you want to
Okay, well then I guess we could do the general one, and then if something pops up where I go, oh, that's interesting, let's go down that path more specifically, then we can shift gears, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's a lot of the times how my private readings end up going. I just start talking and then it starts going. All right, so if I'm gonna go ahead.
And by the way, thank you all 32 people watching. I'm at 29 likes. If there's anyone in there who hasn't hit that like button, let's get it at even 32.
Oh my gosh, did I hit the like button? Let's find out.
Oh my gosh, I hit the like button. I didn't hit the like on my own stream.
Okay. Sitting here running the show, forgot to hit the like button. Geniuses.
Alrighty, so if, 2 cards came out immediately. I asked like, what's like a situation that might be going on in your life that we might just dive into. So I've got right here the 7 of Pentacles And here is the Seven of Wands, which I know means nothing to people who don't know anything about tarot. So let's just go into talk about it. This looks like a situation that perhaps there's something that you've been working on, or something that you've been wanting, that you're considering putting a lot of effort into, or you've already put a whole lot of effort into. So whether it's like you're investing your time, you're investing your money, you're investing your emotions, something where it feels like you've put a lot of yourself into something, but this is something that feels like perhaps it's people come out of the woodwork to kind of criticize it, like they're hypercritical about it. And it leaves you in a space where you feel a little bit defensive, like you're like, okay, it's almost like a passion project, or your baby or something like that, that's important to you, and you've got a lot invested into it, but all of these people just kind of coming at you with like, well, it's not going to work out because of this, or well, why would you do that, or something like that, where it's like naysayers, or people that are that could be kind of like tearing it down, whether it's like actual people that or you just kind of get that feeling that you have to be kind of defensive or protective about like whatever this passion thing is that you have. And I think that is, I don't know if that's like a situation that you're dealing with right now, but that's coming out as the situation. So something where it's like you're feeling like you're having to defend yourself, or kind of hold your ground, or be a little bit forward or blunt or shameless about, no, this is me and this is my stuff, and like you're not gonna get in here and thwart anything.
I'm always forward and blunt and shameless.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that per se, but the putting the effort into, oh my gosh, you have no idea how many video ideas are either in the works or ideas in my head, and I was like, if I could just get all of my thoughts together correctly so that everything's laid in order the way that I need it to be, or else it's going to come across and sound stupid to me. I don't necessarily care if I sound stupid to somebody else. That's going to happen every day.
Yeah.
Okay, and before we continue, Father Zod has a question. How long have you had your station?
My channel, my YouTube channel?
Yes.
Yep.
Very recent. I think it was like Halloween-ish when I started it. So like last November, like of 2020. So, I mean, I've been doing tarot way longer than that, but in terms of my actual YouTube channel, I've only been doing this like 4 months on the internet. So
yeah, I feel you there. I've with time frames and stuff like that, it's always weird how long we have these things going, and then one day, it just takes off. Yeah, it's a struggle. So anyways, getting back to the reading, Mr. PopCulturePb,
I'll swing out a couple more cards.
No, I mean, I literally said in the group chat, or one of the group chats that I'm in earlier today, I said, oh, I found some interesting articles that I was going to talk about and make some videos. Now, did anybody see where I put that ambition?
I mean, I haven't been in the group chat lately, so.
Bull crap, you're always in there, just looking around and being like, hey, guys, come watch this live stream. I don't want to talk to you, though.
No, it's just, when I get all of these
I don't want to hear your excuses, guy. We're in the middle of something.
Do you happen to be a water sign, like a Cancer, Pisces, or a Scorpio? Do you know?
I'm a Scorpio.
Yeah, because you just popped out. Okay, so because I just did okay, so I've got the 2 cards that I have, but the 3rd card that I just got was the King of Cups. So that's a water sign. So that's the Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. So that's you coming out on top of this situation. So like, I mean, you technically already kind of said it to me, but I would have brought up that the block here can be kind of like an internal block where you might be getting in your own way with things, or I don't want to say getting in your own way in like necessarily a bad way, but sometimes whenever we have our passion projects or the things that we're working on, this defensiveness can be something where it could be more projection than it would necessarily be in reality. But you're showing up there, so I mean that's actually not a bad thing. Let me see here. I want to see.
So you said that I come out on top? Excellent. That means that I win, right?
Well, technically, we haven't even gotten that far yet, and I'm doing kind of an adapted spread. I'm doing something a little bit shorter than what I do in a private reading, because private readings I can go on for the longest. But yeah, this came out with it because I asked like, what's on your mind, and this card came out, which is the Ace of Wands. Everyone noticed phallic. No, but still. Out of all seriousness, no, this doesn't mean that someone's getting the D. It can in a love reading. Oh, it can, but I'm assuming that that's not what's happening for you. But this really is the start of like a project and a passion project, and it's a brand new project. But this is very good for you coming out. This shows that whatever you're putting your passion into right now is something that's going to pay off. And I would say that it's going to pay off big time. It's kind of like you're showing up to something that you've been meaning to do, and something that you've been called to do, and it's kind of like finally feels like the right time. The timing is actually there on your side. In the past, perhaps it might not have been, but right now it's kind of like, it's actually like, evidencing itself that it's a good time for things. So let's see here. We'll go ahead and just jump into I want to ask about like what's like in your subconscious fears. Let's just go ahead and just see that.
Ooh.
I'd like to know what's in
I'm
PB's
barely conscious, so the subconscious should be exciting.
Okay, hold on. Stuff flew out.
Uh-oh. What does that say about your subconscious when the cards literally fly away from you?
Usually that means that they got a lot to say. But it
God.
might be, if I'm being honest and I'm putting you on the spot, it might be a situation where it's something that you don't necessarily look at often. You might put your blinders up to it. So it's sitting here like, chop, 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 hit me.
I notice everything all the time. I don't miss anything.
Let's see here. Okay, so all right, I don't want to make too many presumptions about the people that are in your life, but we have the 3 cards that came out in terms of barriers. We have the Queen of Cups over here, reverse. We have the Queen of Cups in reverse. We have the Devil card. Hey, he finally came out. He came out in reverse, and the Moon in reverse. Now, the Queen of Cups is also like the Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio energy too. So it could be like a female water sign, that like a predominant female that might be in your life that's Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, but doesn't have to be. Sometimes, honestly, this can just be like mama issues. I'm not saying that has to be what's going on here, but sometimes when that comes out,
what's that face, Zod?
It doesn't, PB. I'm finding this very intriguing.
Well, I mean, sometimes it is like maybe because this is a very maternal energy and nurturing energy, but when it comes out in the reverse, this is kind of like mama ain't happy, or having almost like your mom as your internal dialogue, or something about her or what she's kind of put into you that could be something that's a block. It doesn't have to be like the person themselves. Sometimes it's like you've been taught something by that person, and whatever that message was that they taught you, almost like we were talking about like Puerto Rican grandma that's like, no, you can't, you don't. It's, I mean, it could be as simple as that. It doesn't have to be anything. But these 2 energies are also like Capricorn and Pisces or Cancer. Again, Cancer showing up a lot in here. But I feel like, honestly, this isn't that negative. Usually when I answer this question about what people are fearing or what people are being blocked by, it comes out a lot uglier than this. So I'm good. You get credit. You get a little bit of credit for this, because when the Devil comes out in reverse, this is saying that something that you used to do that was like really toxic, it's like you're past that now. I don't know if there was like addictions or codependency or like say bad habits or things like that were really kind of holding you back now, and you might have had to confront those and move past that. Sometimes this can be part of the same thing about like you're getting in your own way, and this is feeling very similar to this, where it's like you're starting this journey or this path that you're kind of carving out for yourself, and I think you're making yourself a little bit more prominent in it than you have in the past. Like it's more about what you want to do and where you want to take it, as opposed to what other people have kind of put on you, or you felt like you had to be on their agenda or something like that. And it feels like you might be branching out into something that's a little bit more yours and what you want to do and how you want to do it, and being a bit more direct about how this thing's going to be unfolding. And so, I mean, honestly, that's positive stuff right there. It's normally
when the cards come out in reverse, what does that mean compared to coming out not in reverse or forward? Or
a lot of the time it means like the reverse meaning of the card, so the opposite meaning. So if I were to see the devil coming up like, oh God, upright, this isn't necessarily a good thing in a reading, because this is saying that you are in toxicity, like you're sitting in it. But the reverse is kind of like you've broken the chains, you're coming out of it. So it's but it can also mean, when it's in the upright, it can be kind of like somebody external to you, so somebody in your life, and in the reverse, it can be more of like something that's going on inside that maybe you haven't talked to other people about, but it's an inside job, it's a personal problem. So it can go either way, really. Just depends on how it all starts.
Okay.
Coming together.
Interesting. Speaking of how it all starts, thank you, Helly, says congrats on being monetized. Could I possibly become a mod? Drop a link to Alma's channel, please, and a $5 super chat. I know I read that in reverse, but welcome to the Fandom Zone. Anyways, thank you very much, and I did add you, Haley, because I've seen you a couple of times here on the channel, and I might add a couple more mods for people that I've seen, that I know, and things like that. I'm just very intrigued on everything we're finding out about Mr. PopCulturePb.
You know what a block to my sanity is? Zod reading an article. That's a real block.
Hey, that all came up Pisces and Cancer and all that. I'm a Sagittarius, so if like it shows money bags and it says the Sagittarius in your life will help you out, you're welcome.
Right.
Let's
very
see.
interesting.
I want to look at a future card, though, since we talk about future stuff. Might as well dig. So what could be? Ooh, that almost flipped, but it didn't. We'll reverse half the dig and do it. All right. So what could be coming
What
up?
if I wanted it to flip?
Well, then you need to want a little harder. All right.
Oh man.
Yeah. All right. So what's coming up?
I'm not putting enough out there into the collective unconscious. Okay, so she does believe in it.
I go on and off about it. One more. I got 2 cards, but I would like 3 cards on it just to see a fuller picture of what we're looking at. There we go. Okay, so not that one. All right, so the 3 cards out in terms of the near future. We have the 5 of Cups there. I think you can tell by the look on that card that it's not necessarily the happiest card, but we'll talk about it. The next one out, 9 of Pentacles in the reverse. And then the Knight of Pentacles upright. So if I'm looking at these in terms of a 3-card spread and saying like, what is the most likely thing? Again, anytime I'm talking about future stuff, this is not set in stone. It's very much dependent on like how you frame your mind going into it and the decisions that you make. But if I'm just looking at it like this card is one of disappointment. So it looks like something could possibly be coming in the near future. When I say near future, I usually, in my head, it feels like 2 weeks, something that's like relatively recent. But, time, I don't ever put timestamps on stuff because how the hell should I know? So, but this looks like something that could be like some depressing news or depressing outcome. Maybe something didn't work out the way that you were hoping it would work out, but it's got something that feels like disappointment or feeling like being deflated or being kind of like WTF, like, that sucks. I put what it looks like here with her. It looks like I put too much of myself, again, we're going back to this energy that came at the beginning. I put too much of myself into something to have it maybe flop or have it meet some kind of criticism or not take off as fast as I want it to. Because with this little horsey here, check out Slow Seabiscuit. He ain't going nowhere. His legs ain't even moving. This guy is like at a dead stop. So this usually comes up whenever people are feeling really impatient about something. And this is impatient about something that's very physically rooted, very 3D stuff, which would be like passion projects. I mean, you're getting pinnacles all over the place in here. The pinnacle energies are all about 3D stuff. Sometimes I joke around, I'm like, your groceries, like this isn't about what you think or what you feel. It's about the
I mean, stuff. I got donuts yesterday, so life was good then.
Yeah. And now they're
but
gone.
I'm going to end up eating them, and then they'll be gone, and life will be sad.
And I shall be this. There I am. And we've made it to your future. The donuts, though, but it does kind of feel like something. This is something that you put too much effort into and too much energy into for it not to come to fruition the way you wanted it to, or not to pan out the way you wanted it to. But it doesn't necessarily mean something will flop. But I do think it'll be that something isn't taking off as quickly as you want it to. Something is slow, bureaucratic red tape, something like that, where it's just like, why does it have to be a pain in the butt? Why can't it just, why can't it just take off already? Why can't it just root? Why can't it just happen? But it could be something that might challenge your sense of resiliency, could challenge your trust in yourself, kind of like, am I even like, should I even be doing this? Am I even good enough to be doing this? Is this something I should scrap? Should I try a different angle? Like, where it's kind of like that, like, when you get hit with criticism and then your internal world kind of falls apart for a second, because you're like, well, hell, because if it's not taking off the way that you really wanted it to or hoped it would, then it can be something that can kind of like thwart your momentum, your forward momentum. It doesn't mean that it won't be successful, though, because one other thing about this guy may be slow, but the whole tortoise and the hare thing, it's like the turtle was the one that won it. So it's like he's slow, but he actually crosses the finish line. So this thing is good. This thing is something that's going to be positive for you. It's going to be something that works out, but it's going to be something that takes a whole lot of effort on your part. You're going to be hit with criticism about it. It's going to be annoying. It's going to take a little bit longer to take off than you want it to. You might end up questioning yourself and feeling a little bit about it at times, but I do think that it's going to eventually hit an upswing. But there might be a moment there that has you questioning it.
So every
I
Zack
question
Snyder
everything
video
all
you
the time.
ever make.
What do you? No. I would never question those videos. They only end up with a ratio of like 10-1 on the dislikes.
You're gonna get weirdos that come out of the woodwork and say, no, it's not true. But then when the product comes out, they go, oh.
Don't worry. The one that I'm making next, I don't know how they can say it's not true, because I'm just quoting him. That's all I ever do. But whatever. No, you're not doing it to me again, you son of a. This is why I'm stuck in the mud, because this guy right here, he just says one thing and he's like, oh, I know what'll set him off, and then I won't have to talk for the next 20 minutes.
Just wind him up and let him go.
What? Oh. I would never do that. That's
ever.
Such a mistake. Oh my goodness. So I guess, all right, people in the chat, I'm going to let you decide a villain's fate. I normally never do this. I don't ever do this, but because I love my viewers,
what do you think
and I love my
happen?
channel.
He's so nervous.
No, don't do it.
Like, do you think you're going to learn something about yourself?
mean,
do I want? I don't want to learn stuff about myself without being surprised. I don't want to be like, oh, well. But you know what? Everybody put a 1 in the chat if you want Zod to get a reading. Go ahead. Put a 1 in the chat if you want me.
You said that we could save this for a special spot in the live stream, right? You said that I could have just 1, right? So what I got from the reading was I need to just continue putting in the effort and fuck the haters.
Yes.
Yes, very well placed. That's our 1 curse word YouTube for the day, okay? We're doing this Walking Dead style. Everybody gets 1. So if Greg Nicotero can get away with it.
Do you realize how much it pained me to say pain in the butt earlier when I was just like, oh my God.
Oh, geez. We've got overwhelming 1s. We've got a 6 and a 9. We've got...
Is Richie 1 still here? I know that they put 666. There it
is. All right, so I guess I will give it a shot and see.
Oh, she's rolling over in her grave.
Am I going to
only if you want one?
Yeah, you can ask a direct question. You know, you can ask like a specific question, or have something about love, have something about career. You know, like, or something general. So you can use like a topic that's kind of like that, or you can ask like targeted questions. And if you ask a targeted question that I don't think I would be good at, you know, I could take a stab at it, but I'll let you know if I feel like I'm just not good enough. So I'll just.
Ooh! Before we start this, I have one question. Mm-hmm. How confident were you about all of the cards that you drew about me?
Literally every reading I ever give, I'm at about like a 10% confidence. That's not, okay. It doesn't sound great, but what I mean by that isn't that I'm not confident in my ability to read the cards. It's more of like, I can never know how it lands with people unless they tell me, and I don't even profess to be like psychic or to have all the answers. And so it's more of a like, I'm just gonna open up, do what I do, and hope that it's beneficial to you. So that ends up sounding kind of like an unconfident thing, but to me it's more of I just say what I'm looking at and hope that it works for you.
That was a spectacular answer, but I was asking more so like the question that was asked earlier with the electrical charge in the cards, the confidence in actually drawing them.
Oh, like, yeah. Oh, yeah. Anything that falls out of here, I feel really confident about what I'm picking. The cards that I ultimately decide on, I'm good to go with those. I'm 100 on that.
Okay, so I guess I'm gonna ask the question that every YouTuber probably says in the mirror, because you know I'm a villain and borderline narcissistic personality. So, I'm going to say I'm curious about the future of my channel, what I'm building with this community, and how and if it's going to grow, because I love all of these wonderful people, and I have an idea in mind, a goal of bringing more people together that have a space to talk like we're doing right now, and you know, seeing everybody interact. And I guess I want to know if I'm going to be able to bring more people into that, if I'm going to be able to grow it, and you know, eventually leave it to my daughter and things like that. I guess longevity and things like that, because I guess I really don't care about myself, but I guess it all comes back to a legacy, and I want my little girl, because she loves doing this YouTube thing, and I would like her, when I, you know, go to retire with the lion and everything in the big house now. You know, I want my daughter to be able to come on here and people to make a good transition, and for her to take over and be able to go back through and be like, this was when my father was doing this, and oh my God, he couldn't read articles, but I can, you know, stuff like that. So I guess my question is my channel going to grow, and will I be able to bring more people into this community?
Okay, so let's go ahead and we'll just start with that in mind, thinking about, all right, YouTube channel, growth, future prognosis. Well, okay.
And then I might do one more because I'll get personal for everyone, and maybe I can reaffirm some things in the personal life. So I'll start with the basic and see how it goes.
Yeah, so let's see here. Let's look at the future of the YouTube channel. Let's look at the prognosis. All right, I'm gonna do 6 cards. 6 cards on it. Yep, got one. One more. All right. Okay. I got a clear message here. Okay, so.
Wow, a clear message. Oh boy.
Yeah. So if I'm gonna summarize it in one sentence, it's definitely going places, but you've got some imposter syndrome going on. So, and that's your block. So.
Well, that's why he had to change his name. Oh my God.
Well, I'm just saying. Okay, we'll just go. We'll dive into it.
Sorry, continue.
I could show you the cards and go into it longer, but that is in a nutshell. But like in terms of like where's this going? Like, okay, this Wands energy, that's fire sign. So that's Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. So you showed up in your reading just like PB showed up in his. So here you are. This is one of the fastest nights in the entire tarot deck. So this is not only like, are you firmly in your element? Like this is who you are. This is what you do. This is you. And you're like showing up to the plate, but you're showing up in a way where it's like we're charging forward with this. And I think you're doing so even though you're confronting some fundamental things of like security and stability. So you've got a lot of concerns about security, stability. Am I building like a solid foundation? These are 4 pentacles. Anytime you see a four is always about security and stability. Think about the 4 corners of a house, like the foundation of a house. Pentacles being like real-time stuff, like YouTube channel. But this is something where it's like, for you to make this channel is going to be growing, by the way. Like it's good. It's something that's going to be growing. It's going to be bringing you a lot of prosperity. You got this card like he did, but you got it in the upright. So you got it in the better position. But like take the fact that this is a female out of it and just, it's 9 pentacles. I mean, she's like loaded, right? So this is a very good card to get if you're talking about prosperity, at least financially. It looks like something that's going to be financially paying off more and more and more. It's going to be something that does grow more and more and more. But I think initially it's going to be something that might challenge you with your security and stability in a way where you might have to redraw exactly what does stable look like, what does secure feel like, what does successful actually mean for me. So because it might not be the typical way that like other people, like normal people, set up their career and look at it. So you might have like different definitions of what that means for you. I do think that we have this card in here, which isn't really a problem. It was right under this one. This card, I think, is more just saying that you're done thinking about it too much. You might have been in a time where you were just thinking about what should I do? How should I do it? I want it to be right. I want it to be perfect or something like that. And now it's kind of more of like, I can't just daydream about it. There comes a point where you just have to kind of like really make it happen and put yourself out there even more. And so I think that you're doing that plenty fine, and it's going to be paying off in a big way. But what I was talking about, imposter syndrome, these last 2 cards here, the Ace of Swords in reverse and this 7 of Swords in reverse. This is all about feeling like you're not sure if you can show up in your full authenticity. Like, can I actually be me? And I mean, earlier we were talking about like YouTube and censorship and all that jazz, and that has a lot to do with this energy too, because this is like I'm telling the truth or being like fully me, fully authentic, the truth of me, and for it to come out in the reverse. And with this card kind of feels like, who am I kidding? Can I actually do this? Like, are people going to figure me out and find out that like I'm not as good at this as I want to be, or something like that. It's kind of like a self-doubt card where you sometimes you might be really mean to yourself with your inner self-talk that could kind of get in your way. So I think that you might, in the middle of growing all of this, there might be a period where you feel like you've lost yourself a little bit. And you're going to have to go through a reclamation process of kind of like putting you back into your craft and what you do. But that's the only hitch in the whole thing, because otherwise, like, I mean, these, happy Sagittarius sitting on a wad of coins. I mean, that's clear. That's very clear.
Wow. So. Wow.
I'll send you my invoice, guy.
That's crazy because and being perfectly transparent, yeah, I have those doubts and those issues, just to be completely honest, because I know people are going to be like, oh my gosh, is that really what I feel like? Yeah. Especially with the censorship, the cancel culture, the way things are, I guess it's always in the back of my mind. Like, I've worked so hard. I've worked to bring people together, to get this community together. I'm 100% right up to my screw ups who I am. And, yeah, it's a little bit frustrating too, that the platform that's supposed to, in a sense, represent who we are as people and let us do what we want to do, makes me feel that it says, oh yeah, you can do what you want to do, but you got to do the A, B, and Z. So that is, wow, that's a lot to think about. So basically, I just got to do what I do, keep on plowing forward.
I mean, what you're doing is panning out. I mean, it looks good in terms of like a future prognosis. You have good cards for business, but there is a stay true to yourself, and any negative self-talk that's telling you that you're not as good as so-and-so, or you couldn't ever be like so-and-so, that's crap. Get rid of it, and get rid of it sooner rather than later, because it'll hold you back.
See, PB, I always told you I was going to get Jeremy
hold on. You didn't let me I was just about to say, you're going to be the next Jeremy Johns. I wouldn't want to be cast aside.
No, definitely not. I mean, and then one day I'll have him. Oh my gosh, it's happening. It'll be hilarious too, because if that ever happens, to go back to my old videos and be like, wow, I hope this guy doesn't have a shrine in his house, and I'd be like, no, who would do that? That's not a shrine in the background.
It's right next to your Captain Marvel poster.
I guess being that I'm on a roll, I'm gonna ask the big one that I'm sure every guy asks. But I have a love, the love of my life, bitchy unicorn, and I'd like to get an idea of how all that's gonna turn out.
Relationship spread.
Oh, she just came back. She's in the background. She goes, what's gonna turn out? Hey dear, I'm getting a tarot card reading on our relationship. She's laughing.
Oh my God.
All right, let's just go ahead and see this. All right, so let's look at our future prognosis for our romantic relationship. We'll go ahead and sling a few for that. Let's see. All right, the first card.
If it ends with she's gonna kill me, it's probably true.
Now let's see here. Okay. Now relationship reads do usually get a bit more personal than the business ones, just so you know. All right. So.
It'll be fine.
Okay. So I know you said you're a Sagittarius. I've got the water energy and earth energy here. So the water energy being the Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, but I've also got earth energy, which is Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. So I don't know what her zodiac sign is. Is she?
Hey dear, what's your sign?
Cheesy pickup line.
What?
She just flipped them off.
Libra.
Libra. Okay, so then that's none of these, but it doesn't matter. It's only like if it fits, it kind of helps me know how to interpret it. So if I'm looking at this in terms of like a romantic reading and like future stuff. Okay, so there's two king energies that show up. That doesn't mean two time and we got two dudes showing up. So let me go ahead and just say that is what it means. Because I know some people will sit here like, I'm white knuckling the table right now. No, but I've got two of these. I have a tendency to feel like this one could be possibly her energy and this one would be yours. I say this one would be yours because, first of all, we just got done talking about your money stuff. And this is a Pentacle card and this is King Midas. He's sitting here. Everything I touch turns gold. Look at him. And so I think of this is also like a husband card. So this would be indicative of like a higher level commitment, like, the marriage type stuff. So that's showing up here. And that is actually the last of the 6. So it ends with like a commitment card, which is good. So, but the first stuff that's coming out here is, it feels like this might have been a situation where it was like, how shall I put this? Could have felt like it took forever to make it happen, or like this was a long time coming and I had to be really patient for this. I had to be really patient in how this came together. And so it's like it's something that a lot of effort went forward to it. A lot of patience went into this to try and to bring this together. I see here, well, I could talk about that more, but I'm just trying to be brief because of the whole stream. But but we can dive into this deeper if we wanted to. But I'm going to interpret this one as being her energy. I think she is showing up as more someone who's a lot more emotional, and would be someone that brings a lot of emotional depth to you and to your life. So there could be part of you that kind of cut off your feelings in the past because it was like, I don't go there, I don't touch those, whatever, like I'm not. And she's bringing that more into your life or more into your awareness in a way. I do, if I'm being honest, there could be some emotional, we should maybe outbursty things that I think y'all might be kind of growing out of together in the future. So I don't see that as like current, but this is like an emotional card and this is kind of like leaving it. So if there is any like emotional outbursty stuff that can kind of happen, I think that's something that y'all are going to be like aging out of together, and that's not going to be something that necessarily is going to hang around for a while. So that's a good thing. But your energy here is really a very, in regards to her, very emotionally committed and very focused on it. It's like it's almost like a front and center, like it's 50-yard line kind of a thing. It's right there. So this is like, I don't have to think about it. I don't have to wonder. I don't have to. It's like deep down there's kind of like a knowingness of this feels right. It feels like home. It feels like relief. Like this is I am aligned to this. This is what I want. And it ends in like a husband card, so I would say like a higher commitment. But I do, if I am being honest, the only thing that could possibly look even remotely negative about future energies would just be squabbles about somebody feeling like they're putting in more work than somebody else. And it's like, I'm tired of picking up your slack. So like we gotta go 50-50 in this. So, and having like some outbursty squabbles about who should be doing what and when they should be doing it, because you see that. But in terms of like dedication and stuff, I mean, you're sitting there solidly. Wow.
Well,
these are fast readings. Obviously, like private readings, I go for like 45 minutes to an hour. So this is just quick.
No, that was very eerily right on the nose on a lot of things. Boy, I don't want to tell her that she's right about some stuff.
Don't do that, guy. Don't do it. If she can't hear the answers now, you don't have to give them to her. She's not going to listen to this stream later.
Never acknowledge defeat, man. Never acknowledge it.
Well, that's crazy. I just want to say everything was accurate. A little backstory, I'm sure she wouldn't mind, but yeah, we went through tough times. As a matter of fact, it's hilarious you would mention that whole taking a while, because when I first got to the theater,
it took forever.
Yeah, it was like I even remember
there's this girl at the theater that I'd really like to date, but I don't know if she's into it.
and PB was like, kept on saying, I think it was you, Perp, and everyone. He's like, y'all are dating, and I'm like, no, we just go and see movies together because we enjoy each other's company, and we just happen to do everything together because I really don't know anyone, even though I got separate friends, and we just happen to be in the same place at the same time. It's all just a giant coincidence. People leave me alone.
Right, they weren't dating until he goes, she's moving in 2 weeks. And I was like, are you still not dating?
No, just friends, roommates only. Yeah.
No, I was doing the Christian thing. She just needed a place to stay, and I was like, well, yeah, wow, it's crazy because yeah, I guess that was
Christian thing. Yeah, so you sleep on the couch, right?
Well, of course, 100%. Come on, what do you take me as here? Zod's not going to be me too'd. No, I mean, wow, yeah, I mean, that's a big thing, and a lot of what you're talking about too is us moving in together. There has been a balancing act, and there's been a point with her, and she's done so much, and me feeling like I haven't contributed enough, because at the time I was in between doing the jobs and I was focusing on this, and now my security job we got the first check rolling in. We had even people here who helped us out with the GoFundMe when we had our situation, because Corona, it felt like everything was not stable, and now things are starting to get level, and although I got to stop leaving my cups all around and stuff like that. So yeah, you hit those outbursts in the head there. Then that was literally happened just last night.
Don't worry, bitchy. He leaves cups everywhere, no matter where he goes.
but no, that's, yeah, and I think for me myself, because of everything I went through, I did have an emotional block, but with her, I've always been 100% on. Even now, like, and it's weird because I had a chat with Father Zod, and he was like, are you sure? And he's asked me this before, and I was like, yeah, kind of. But this time I was like, no, I'm 100% sure. I'm going to marry her. This is the person that I want to be with. This is the person that I love.
Weird. In my family, it was the exact opposite. Everybody had the conversation with my wife and was like, are you sure you want to do this? You laugh and snicker, but these are facts.
No, I totally see that, but Miss PB and you are perfect, because yeah, she doesn't. Yeah, I think that's the highlight for both of us, because bitchy doesn't put up with my shenanigans. Let me tell you what. So we both got great people that are like, wow, that's crazy. It's gonna take me a while to process this.
Yeah, it usually does. Yeah.
Well, yeah, guys. So yeah, that's pretty accurate to the situation and what's been going on. I did not give a heads up to you before, because Zod's not that organized, and
I think there's people in the stream that know tarot cards, and I show the tarot cards I'm talking about, so they know what it means and they see them popping out in real time. So it's not like I'm just generating BS. But
wow. So I guess
that's what Zod is here for.
Exactly.
BS generation.
But to be fair, because of
he uses raccoon resources.
No, PB, I actually have some sad news. Due to the apocalypse, I've had to let some of the raccoons go. It was one of the hardest days. I had to
they
let
caught a
some of the
virus,
raccoons.
hey?
Yeah, you know how that goes.
Oh my God, you said that when I had two in my mouth. I almost spewed. I'm sorry. I almost lost that.
We now just don't have to worry about rabies in the raccoons community. It's gotten bad.
Right.
So some of them had to go. I had to actually get a couple of real resources. It was a sad day, and I'm like, look, guys, you guys have done great stuff for me in the past. All of the dumpsters you went through, we appreciate that, but it was like when the minions were being let go. It felt like that. I was just like, you guys can stay on. I just can't use you anymore. It was a sad day. Sad day indeed. Yes, Nicky Harrison, I had to tell him that. Do you know what it's like to have a bunch of raccoons scurrying around? They're good when they're dumpster diving, but the upkeep, my goodness. So I'll let PB ask you one more question. I kind of got to do something for a second. I'll be right back. Go ahead, PB.
What? Wait, like, why do you always have to set me up for failure like this? He puts himself on mute and he leaves and he goes, hey, ask her one more question. Like I DM'd him on the side. Hey, I got one more question for her. If you could just shut your trap real quick. I did not have another question lined up. I mean, I could ask 50 million more questions if I wanted to. But, I mean, one question? I don't know. UFOs, real or fake?
Oh, I mean, shoot, if I look at that, I already have like a preconceived notion about that one, so this might not be like a very good one, but I'll get 3 cards on it anyway and see what it says. What can we be told about aliens?
So do your preconceived notions of questions people ask you affect how the cards come out or not?
You know, I think that there's a possibility in any time that the reader can bias stuff. Like I'm open to that. You know what I mean? Like I try my hardest to be kind of neutral and just say what I'm looking at. But if I'm being honest, I think that the person that you're reading for can kind of like influence the reading, and that the reader can influence it too. So I think that is something to take note of. And I think the more aware of it you are at that, the better you would be suited at it. But okay, so I see these 3 cards. He asked about if aliens are real or fake, which, Tarot, it's really hard sometimes to look at something and get like yes, no answers. You have to almost have like a system in your head about that. But, and of course, there's no cards in here that are going to say like, yeah, aliens are real. That's just not like, I don't have a card for that. I don't have an alien card, you know. But I got these. So this 10 of Wands came back out again. 3 of Swords and 3 of Cups. Now, what I find a little bit more important than the actual meaning on the cards here. I'm trying to get my dog to quit attacking me. Both of these are
my
3.
dogs are also fighting in front of me. It happens.
I'm telling you, she comes around all the time. She probably has to go outside, but if she goes outside, she Houdini's out the fence, and I don't feel like catching her from the neighbor's yard at this time, so she'll just have to hold it. But 2 3s. 3s in numerology mean communication. So to me, and this card is kind of in this spread, this card is kind of like dropping it or giving up or letting go. So when I'm looking at something like this and I was honest about my preconceived notions, but to me, it almost looks like this, the narrative of aliens aren't real, the suppression of that information, that they're not real. I think that they're going to be giving up on that narrative, and that there's going to be some kind of narrative about communication that could be coming through. Both of these are communication cards, and here it's backwards. Here you've got 3 people. This card not only is about communication, but it's about groups getting together with the communication. So like whether it's countries coming together, species coming together, whatever, something that's like coming together. So I do. me looking at this and thinking in terms of like a global scale, if I was looking at it in terms of the world, I would say that there could actually be something that comes out a little bit more of like a expose, I guess, that comes forward. And it might not be something that people really want to hear, or they might phrase it in a way that could cause people to be a little bit panicky. Even I wouldn't be surprised just because of that card in there. It's a little bit of a monkey wrench in it, but I think it's going to be like people realizing that you can't hold the front but so long, and so they're kind of giving up on the pretense, and there's some kind of an expose and some kind of acknowledgement of communication or even working together kind of a thing.
I mean, I'm from Krypton. I've been telling people aliens are real, and no one believes me. I lost my planet. I've been stuck here. So you know what? Welcome to Zod's Fandom Zone. This is at PopCulturePb. Aliens are real. I believe that the Asgard are real. So the Asgardians of the galaxy are out there. Star-Lord confirmed. Boom.
No, Kevin's not those Asgard. The other Asgard. The Asgard are the little gray aliens. I thought you were a fan guy. Unbelievable.
Nope. Kevin was getting messages. I knew it. Hemsworth really is Thor. He's like, play myself. Yeah, sounds good. No, that's interesting because I've been thinking with the way technology is and with how phones can take a great picture. Really, government, are you gonna keep on saying no, it's not real? Move along here. Move along. Nothing to see here. No.
Dog, stop barking. Nobody cares.
That's exactly the dog's
like, yeah, man. I've been seeing this stuff all the time. Are you kidding me? We're living out here in the woods. What we got? Rebecca says, at Mr. Zod's Fandom Zone, I'm scared. PB is questioning whether Teal'c is real.
No, not questioning, confirming. And she confirmed it. She didn't confirm. The cards confirmed it. She just read the cards.
I said what I saw.
Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness, this has been a great chat. I gotta start throwing on my stuff and getting ready to secure the world. It's good to know that now. You know what's funny? People are gonna be like, "Oh my goodness, Zod is actually from Krypton," because you still have people on the internet who legitimately believe I'm a villain because of what I say. So yeah, might as well just lean into the whole thing. I'm a villain from Krypton. Be careful what you say. You know who you are. You troll my channel. I know you.
I'm not going to stop.
And yeah, but it's crazy. Nikki Harrison says, "Are the aliens using the tarot cards? They might be sending out their energy like, yeah, man, we've been saying for years we're here, and Earthlings are like, nah, they don't exist, or we've just met people in hangar bays that suppose, I've seen Area 51, and I'll tell you right now, they are not using aircrafts. Stop using that excuse. Those hangars are way too big for an aircraft or even multiple aircraft. Oh my goodness, like. How many times have we heard, oh, it's a water balloon, or it's a
a water balloon? A water You mean weather balloon?
There we go. Whatever. I was close enough. You're welcome, PB.
Yeah, see, Area 51, they're out there just having these water balloon fights because, they're in the desert and it's hot. What the hell, guy?
You're welcome. That one's for free. Anyways, this has been a great conversation. I'd like to have you back on again because this was really fun. And I'd love to dive more deep into a Ginger's psyche. Like, we're learning all sorts of things. PB has more emotional complexities than I originally thought. He's
That's
got
just
layers.
because you don't think.
Hey, you know what? It's like you're the definition of what John Campea is always talking about. You got real emotional weight.
I'm nothing that John Campea ever describes.
You're full of emotional weight, PB. Anyways, thank you, Miss Alma, for coming on. We appreciate having you. Do you want to tell the fine folks where they can find you and some things you might have coming up?
Well, my YouTube and my Twitter are both Alma Redacted, so that would be best place to find me.
It was so easy to find you on Twitter. It was great. I was like, okay, ALMA. Oh, she's right there. Excellent. Boom. Tweet.
I'm glad because I'm like, oh, I don't do technology. So, but yeah, I just created both of those things. So there. That is how you find me. But in terms of what's coming up, I'm a little bit of a last minute person sometimes with making plans, but I know that I'm doing another live stream with Gary and my twin sister on March 25th, which I think is a Thursday. And so we're going to do something that's tarot related because both me and my sister both do the tarot cards. So me, the twin, and Gary. But that's all I have that I know that's scheduled. But I know Rob said he wanted to do a live stream with him and me, Tammy, Keely, and Gary talking about, I don't know whether it's like ghost stories or tarot or things, paranormal things, fun things like that.
Ooh, you're gonna have fun on that one. There's some personalities on there. I love Tammy. Which, by the way, go check out Keely. Go check out Tammy's channels. They're marvelous. Yes. You can get from Tammy's channel in regular strength or extra strength. Bitch be gone. It's a great product. If you want to get rid of those herds of the world, you just spray some on you and poof. You know, disclaimer, you're going to need extra strength for certain people. So there you go.
Yeah, but those are the people that you see next Tuesday.
And of course, Keely has the most relaxing channel ever. If you want to like get some meditation and some good vibes, go check out that.
Take a nap.
Oh yeah. Like I'm so angry about this Brie Larson situation. I go over there. I'm like,
oh my gosh,
what was I talking about? Why do I look at that poster? You know what? Not very many people know the context of the poster. Look, the poster.
You look at the poster because it's above your bed.
The poster was one for me as a joke, and they put my name in for it. And you know, bitch, he told this story. Okay, I had nothing to do with this, but at the same time, I didn't get rid of it.
Right. The people that put your name in, they only heard you talking about Captain Marvel all the time. What were they to think?
Well, it agitates me. Whatever. Anyways, so yeah, go check out Alma Redacted. Go check out Keely Talks. Go check out Tammy. Go check out Rob Rules. Because he's got a great channel. Go check out Gary. Gary is awesome. I talked to him offline. He's a great guy. He actually did the music for my intro. Very talented, very chill. So go check out his channel. And Mr. PopCulturePb, do you have anything coming up?
Oh, I'm going to make a Zack Snyder video on our mutual channel. It's going to be glorious.
Oh my goodness. Remember, don't let your energy be blocked by all of the people who are going to come out.
Oh, it won't be. Oh my gosh. I couldn't believe this headline when I seen it, and I was like, this guy is totally tone deaf. That's what had to do with the tweet that I put out. But yeah, that's what's coming up. Oh. Good times.
And of course, we got some big things. I got Pat Leopard, who's going to be here tomorrow. If you guys don't know who that is, he wrote a book on Andre the Giant, and he did an HBO special. Which HBO, why didn't you credit this guy? He's like doing the interviews and stuff. Like, your synopsis sucks. Although, still check them out because they got the best DC products. And also, they just added Crunchyroll stuff to their lineup. So if you want the best in Cartoon Network Crunchyroll, Adult Swim. Go check out HBO Max. Anyways, no, he did a series for them on HBO Max. It was very awesome. I learned some things about Andre the Giant I never knew, and that man went through a lot. So he's going to come on the channel tomorrow and talk with us. We're going to ask him questions. We're also going to talk about various other wrestling things. So you guys got to watch if you want the rest. Plus, next week, because I believe that's when this drops, I'm going to get a panel together. They didn't know it, but I'm indoctrinating them right now. I'm going to get a panel of PopCulturePb, Perp Minded, and myself and probably Cyber to talk about the brave and stunning release of the Justice League, the Snyder Cut. Because we got to put this up, and I know people are probably going to absolutely hate our opinion and our review because we're going to give an actual non-biased opinion and review on this based on things like acting and script and whether a whole another movie should have been released with the same title and supposedly different, even though it follows the same exact
it's story. Not the same title. This time he's stroking the hell out of his ego because his name is in the title. Don't forget that.
So we're going to do a review on that. I got my late night talks. Today we switched the times up because I work till 11. So tonight it's going to be an actual midnight late night talks, which is going to directly interfere with Phoebe's after show because I'm great at communications and I did not tell him whatsoever until literally 5 seconds ago. You're welcome, buddy.
Thanks.
And then who knows? We'll do we'll do the after show after that and just like
I guess we'll see what happens.
So yeah, we're going to be doing that. I've got a couple of other great reviews and things like that. So stop on by, like, share, subscribe, retweet to the world, let people know about the stream, and let's keep going, man. I want to get the channel going. And we're going to do some big things together. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you for coming on. And as always, remember, there's only one rule here in the Fandom Zone. Kneel before Zod.
I don't think that's what the card said.
Darkness before